Good morning, MacLaren. Today is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. The weather today is sunny with a high of 83 degrees and a low of 57. The sun rose this morning at 6:29 a.m. and it will set this evening at 7:27 p.m. Today I want to travel with you from South America to Asia. The continent of Asia is home to one of the most spectacular highlands in the world, the Tibetan Highlands. The Tibetan Highlands, also known as the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, are located in southwestern China, as you can see on this map. A plateau is an area of land that is pretty flat but sits at a high elevation. The Tibetan Highlands sit between 12,000 and 15,000 feet of elevation, depending on the location. The Himalayas, pictured here, border the Tibetan Plateau to the south. The plateau also contains brackish lakes, which are lakes that are partly saltwater and partly freshwater, like this one. It is also interesting to note that the Tibetan Highlands get between 4 and 12 inches of precipitation every year. Most of this precipitation comes in the form of, are you ready for it? Hail. This is Lhasa. Lhasa is the largest city in the Tibetan Highlands. It also has the largest population of any city in Tibet. Lhasa is Tibet's capital city, and it sits at about 12,000 feet. That's about twice the elevation of Colorado Springs. Lhasa is considered a holy land by Tibetan Buddhists, and it is also a historic city in China. At the center of the city sits this temple. The Jacquing Temple was built in the 600s and is 4 stories high. It is believed to be the holiest place in Tibet by Tibetan Buddhists. Here we see a picture of a Tibetan Buddhist monk. Tibetan Buddhism has had a big impact on the culture of the Tibetan Highlands, including the art, literature, and music of this area. Here we see a picture of nomadic Tibetan Highlanders. Nomadic people make up about 40% of the ethnic population of Tibet. Nomadic people are people who don't live in one specific place, but move around a lot. The nomadic people of the Tibetan Highlands are pastoral farmers. This means that they raise livestock. Growing crops is difficult in these harsh conditions, and so raising livestock such as yaks, sheep, and goats is much more conducive to the environment. The Tibetan Highlands contain several ecosystems. Many of the areas here are grasslands, like the one pictured here. There are other areas, however, that are considered to be alpine tundra. That's the same biome as Colorado Springs. While the harsh climate of the Tibetan Highlands isn't the best environment for many animals, there are still some amazing creatures who call Tibet home, such as the Tibetan wolf, cranes, the Tibetan snow leopard, and the wild yak. Now back to the people of the Tibetan Highlands. Remember how we discussed hemoglobin yesterday? That's the stuff in your red blood cells that helps oxygen get to the tissue in your body. Well, the Andean Highlanders, whom we talked about yesterday, develop more hemoglobin at about 5,000 feet. Remember that this allows them more oxygen to the tissues in their blood. Well, Tibetan Highlanders have relatively low hemoglobin levels until they get up to about 14,000 feet. That's about 9,000 feet higher than when the Andean Highlanders experienced increased hemoglobin levels. Well, we know that most Tibetan Highlanders live at an elevation of 12,000 feet. So how do they survive at 12,000 feet if they don't develop increased hemoglobin until 14,000 feet? Well, Tibetan Highlanders actually breathe more times per minute than people who live at low elevation. They are essentially hyperventilating. Now, scientists think that there might be an additional reason that Tibetan Highlanders are able to survive at these elevations. Tibetan Highlanders' lungs process a large amount of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide increases the diameter or the wideness of blood vessels. Well, if you have wider blood vessels, that means that more blood can get to the body more quickly, and blood carries oxygen. So it's possible that Tibetan Highlanders have two ways in which they have adapted to this elevation. If it is your birthday today, September 2nd, happy birthday. I hope you have a day filled with kindness, friendliness, and peace. Remember, we're all in this together. See you next time.